Hey y'all, and welcome back to another fan mini episode of Catch That, where we get to know our friends through their favorite R&B songs. I am naturally Elise, and that's my brother,
JR.
and we are the R&B representatives. I promise we are. And today we are welcoming a very dope, very knowledgeable, very interesting brother, and that is the good brother Malik. What's up?
Hello, hello. Thank you for having me.
Yes.
Mm.
So, how about you let our audience know a little bit about yourself or a lot about yourself, wherever you want to go with it?
Okay, I'm Milik Kashad. Many people may know me as Black Music Archive. I've been a long time follower of JR actually. We go back. I followed him, I would say as far back as like 2016, 2017. I remember we
Yes.
had one of our first conversations when I was in undergrad, and I said, the very first conversation we had was actually about the break between the first two SWV albums, and he
Oh
explained to me
my
why.
God. Yes.
and he,
Oh
and
God.
he explained to me why there was that long break. But
Oh
I've been a
my
long
God. I
time
remember
follower.
that. Oh.
Mhm.
That's not
I've
Jared
been a
talking about
long time
SWC.
follower of his work. And I just love, the music, and yes. And like I said, I'm excited to be here.
Listen, listen. I am a fan of this guy for real. Like I've been a fan of him since he was I love Aretha Franklin. And that's what his thing was until he turned it to Black Music Archive. And let me tell y'all, I feel like the best series on YouTube right now is Explained. And he has a show where he talks about different artists and their vocals and things like that. And I'm telling you, the research and the things that he does, and it's just inspiring to me. And I told him because I normally like hit him and just some stuff like that, but he just did this Whitney one, you guys, and it's a 3 hour one, but he broke it up into different parts. And I just remember I had to DM him, was like, yo, this is one of the best things on YouTube. Nobody is messing with this because the way he broke down Whitney's voice from the beginning to the end. And it was so done with care and gentle. It was no drama with it. It was just all about her artistry. And we got all these documentaries out, and everybody wants to know about this and this. Let's focus on her artistry. And Malik focused on it. It was a 3 hour thing. I'm telling you, you will love it. He goes through each tour. And I finally had to hit him, and I was like, yo, I love this. And again, I said, y'all, I was like, I have to get him on the show because he's just dope. And again, he inspires me. I like to watch different things for people that inspire me. And he's just so inspiring, especially when it comes to the research of it all. Like he really goes into depth about research, and that's me. So to see somebody do it in the way he does it, it's just amazing. And I was like, sis, I gotta get this dude on the show. I was like, I gotta get him on the show. I was like, he gotta come on and talk about a song. So I was just like, while he's here and in front, my mom always say, give people their flowers while they're here. I have to give him his flowers, man. I definitely want you guys to definitely check him out for real, because I'm a fan. You know what I mean? I ain't no hater, no nothing like that. But this dude deserves like all the flowers that he gets because the time he puts into each of these explained episodes and people he don't even talk about, like Sylvester Phyllis, Mahalia Jackson, he did one on. He did one on Michael, Anita, like all that. I'm a fan, y'all. So it's real. So I watch these things. So y'all, please subscribe to his YouTube channel, which is Black Music Archives. You will not be disappointed. I'm telling you. So I had to give his flowers right quick. I'm sorry.
Thank
I don't
you.
need no flowers, but I give you a plant.
Right.
Thank you.
Jada Peter gave you all the flowers. Ain't no flowers left.
I know ain't no flowers left, right? I'm
I'll
sorry.
do what I can.
Right.
So, good brother Malik, with who now has a crown of flowers because JR gave him some accessories. How about you tell us what song that you picked to talk about it? What song you picked to talk to us about, and if you remember hearing it for the first time.
The song I decided to talk about today is Tearing It Up by Chaka Khan. When did I first hear it? I honestly do not remember. I think it might have just been going through her discography. Uh, when I was just some exploring artists, I just start from the very beginning and go all the way to the end. And this is the first song. It's the opening track on this is a Parent album. So I would just say that's probably the first time that I heard it. Yeah.
Yeah. And what about that song that you love so much? Why, like, you picked it and you were like, yes, I must
Mm.
discuss this.
Because she was eating. But I think in the larger grand scheme of things, this song, but also more importantly, this album is like, I feel like almost every artist has an album that is like an artistic achievement and but it's not always a commercial success. But had it been a
Yes.
success, they would have done more of whatever we hear
Right.
on this artistic album. And it's just like the direction that song went into, and just this album is unlike anything before, and it's unlike anything that she would do after, because the album after this is I Feel For You, which was catered to the pop markets to be,
Yeah.
the success that it ended up being.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Like, so before we got on, I was telling Malik, like, I don't know this album. The Chaka Khan album. I don't know it. And I don't know how I missed it because I was like, but then him and JR was saying, well, I mean, she was working, so it was out. So it's like kind of easy to miss. Cause I got like 20 Shaka and Rufus albums, and I'm like, I'm like Shaka down. So
Yes.
I
But it
hate
also
I
went
don't
out
know
of
the album.
print.
I hate that for me.
Yeah, it's actually the only album like from her discography for a long time. It was the only one that was out of print. It flopped so bad that they took it out of print, and it recently became available on streaming like a few years back. So
Mm-hmm.
nobody, I'm not surprised that nobody knew about it, because it was like out of the public after it was
Mm-hmm.
released. Yeah.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I'm that too, because I didn't know it until like a couple of years ago, to be honest. Like I knew again, slow dancing with her and Rick. Like I knew that, you know what I mean? But a lot of these other ones I didn't know. So I'm like, at least. But when I did, I was like, oh, this is her in her artistic bag. This is her, and I can never pronounce her producer's name. What her producer name? Arif
Yeah,
Marden.
Arif.
Read
Yeah.
more than okay, good. I want to make sure again, at least with names. I ain't trying to get shot. But so you know, this they were in their artistic bag because of the time that was changing. This is 1982. Me and Elise always talk about this era. This is experimental. This is when everybody is trying to find a sound right now. Like, this disco is out. So what's next? So that everybody is trying everything. And then mind you, she's just coming off of What You're Gonna Do For Me, right? Which was a success within itself. You know what I mean? So it was just like, okay, where do we go from here? And I think this people just didn't get it at the time. But I'm like, which is crazy to me, and y'all, yeah, we're gonna get back to tearing it up. But what's crazy to me, if you think about songs on this album like The Best in the West and So Not Worried and Pass On and the Bebop medley, it really gives you the feeling of what you're gonna do for me was. So it still gave you something familiar, which I always love from an artist. Be artistic, do what you do, but give me something familiar on what I fell in love with you with the album before then. And I think that she did that. You know what I mean? But you knew from Tearing It Up, for me, when I first heard this song, I knew this. I was like, wait, whoa, okay, where are we going? What's this? And the first thing I focused on this song was her backgrounds. She's eating these backgrounds. Like Shaka is eating these up, and it's just her. You know what I mean? Like it's just her. So I know how many. I don't know what they call it in Pro Tools on how many things that she had to do. You know what I'm saying? Them highs and them lows and all of this kind of stuff. It was just like Shaka is just singing down. And then again, I love something familiar. I'm like, well, when it starts off and it starts that beginning, the beginning off, it gives me the beginning of work it out. Just that beginning, maybe the first 8 seconds, it's just like how, well, we can work it out starts on what you're going to do for me, right? And then Shaka then comes in with that long note, which took me back to Rufus, what she did once you get started. How she just came in just wailing on the girl. Shaka said, "Hey Aretha, hey girl, I'm here." You know what I'm saying? Like I'm here. Like, don't and she just came in wailing and it gave me that. You know what I mean? So I'm like, oh, I'm really getting to the artistry of this song because of what she's doing. And it's giving me flavors of what she was with Rufus and what she was as a solo artist. So for me, I just think musically this song is great. Shaka singing down, and I do love this record. So yeah, so that was kind of my first time. Sorry for the long drag, but you know how I do, y'all.
Yeah.
Oh god.
And this little I don't know why my brain can't think of the song. It'll come to me. I can hear the melody in my head. But the Tearing It Up chorus reminds me of one of the bridges on What You're Gonna Do for Me. But now my brain can't. I can't. It'll come to me. But it reminds me of it. It's not the same, but I'm just like, yes, you know, like it's my Shaka. But anyway, it'll come to me. But go ahead.
Yes. And then it's then the musicians on it, because when we did our episode with Mark with What You're Gonna Do for Me, all the like they always had the average white band playing behind her. That was the ones that were playing behind a lot of her solo work. So when you get to this, it's like now you got different players now. You know what I mean? Like, so I know on the horns, yeah, um, Michael Beaker played on it because he played on Love Has Fallen on Me from the Shaka album. So he's back on this, you know what I mean? And the sense on this is sensing, if that's even a word. It is like it just the synthesizers on this thing is eating, like it's killing, you know what I mean? Because it's just like again, and that's when the 80s, you start getting them 80s where them synths was really dominant in front. Because I love how Lee say when an instrument is in front. And the synthesizers are in front. Like it's like what Parliament was doing in the late 70s, well, when they were doing from the mid 70s to now, the synthesizers was in front dealing with Benny. You know what I mean? He was that guy. And then we get into the 80s where now you got Stevie really using it in front. You know what I'm saying? Shaka's using it in front. It's so many people that's using it. Kashif is using it in front. Like a lot of these guys are using the synthesizers, and the synthesizers, Robbie is, whoosh, he's, like the musicianship on Shaka's albums can be discussed alone. You know what I mean? And it's just, yeah, yeah. Like for this song, it wasn't always a go-to for me. But when I do hear it, I'll be like, oh shit, okay, like, oh, you know what I mean? And I'm like, at least like this is the Shaka, but you could tell with her opening this album, was gonna be artistic, and that's what I do like about this record. Tell me what you gonna give me in the first song, and that's what Shaka did. You know what I mean? So, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I agree. I agree. And I think a good point that you mentioned earlier, I have a love-hate relationship with like the early 80s music. Um, because it's just like most of my artists, my favorite artist, somebody that comes to mind is Melba Moore. Like, but it's like
Oh,
that, but it's like a transition between like those who are used to like having the full real live studio musicians and to that 80s synth elect drum kit, whatever. Like that, it's like many of them, some of them got it, a lot of them didn't, and it's just very, very hard to gauge. Like for me, also tearing it up, it's like a nice balance. But also this album, because I think when you move forward, I would say I Feel For You is a little bit more 80s sounding, while this song and this album, it's more so on that bridge, and like yeah, I that's another reason why I just like it so much because it's one of the few songs, in my opinion, that like, you know, sounds of the time period, but doesn't sound generic. Like I think a lot of the 80s uh music sometimes sounds because they were discovering new technology.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what me and JR call like, for like 81 about 84, that's like the experimental period. And
Mm-hmm.
we got some bangers out of that period, and we got some stinkers out of that period. So I think most R&B fans, like true R like hardcore R&B fans, have have a conflicted feeling about that
Yes.
early 80s period.
Oof.
And I think that period would have went a little bit better for my ears if it was more of a mix of synth and live instrumentation, like together, which we kind of got later. But yeah, that was my problem because then it sounded very one dimensional.
Mm-hmm.
When you have a
Mm-hmm.
band, it's a thickness and a depth, especially the early electronic stuff. Now it's more that they can do now, but then it was very Casio basic, like
Mm-hmm.
like they didn't
Mm-hmm.
have all the different sound inputs and things they can do now. They didn't have that, so it sounds it sounds generic and cheesy because it's so flat.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's gives the cheesiness. Because you go back to those songs, you're like, oh, that's so cheesy, and you actually listen to the songwriting. The songwriting's great, and the actual melody, you're like, no, that's a nice melody. What is missing in song? Oh, these flat ass synths. Because they could go do that same
Exactly.
song, go do it live with a band, and you're like, oh. Or you go hear a cover band and they playing like a real synthy song, but it's a full
Mm-hmm.
band, and you're like, wait a minute, I feel a little different about this song than I used to. Maybe it's not so cheesy.
Mm-hmm.
So
And then you knew Shaka. She was the type of artist we knew her from a band. She needed that. She needed that live.
good
What?
point. Good
Yes.
action.
You see what I'm saying? Like it's like Shaka. We knew her from Rufus, a band. She needed those live, instrumentation behind her. So once that 80s started to come in, even though What You Gonna Do For Me, she still got a live band behind her. They still kicking. You know what I mean? But by 82, 83, now the drum programming is starting and all this is starting. So now Shaka gotta kind of fit into that, and that's kind of not her artistry. But like you said, with Tearing It Up, it is a balance. You know what I'm saying? Because you still got them bands playing. Like I said, you still got, Rob on the synths, and you still got Michael on the horns, and you still got, all these players playing on it, but the synths are still in front. So it's still of the style of the time. So people are like, oh, okay, cool. Which I just don't understand why that album didn't do better. You know what I mean? But like Malik said in the beginning, when artists get into their artistic bag, sometimes it does not sell like you think. You know what I mean? And it kind of hurts the artists a little bit because they like, well, wait a minute, y'all been following me, and I'm just trying to get into my artistic thing here, and y'all not understanding it. And then it makes them go back to what worked. And sometimes they're not the best happy because Shaka can't stand how I feel for you. She don't like it at all. Like she eats that album up. Like she be like, no, I'm good.
You tell you about how much she don't like that any chance she get.
Oh
So
yeah,
it
she
ain't even one
always
off the
says
cuff
it.
statement. I'd have seen her personally say about a good 20 times, and it's way more than that.
Right. Right. And
I
you like,
mean,
mm-mm. She like, I'm good. I'm good.
yeah,
Say,
she wastes no moment telling anybody that like all the songs she sings in her show, she's like, I hate singing it. And I'm like, I'm sorry. You know, that's all you can say is, I'm sorry. But I think what's also interesting about that is the album that comes before, you know, Chaka Khan or the Tearing It Up album is Echoes of an Era. And that flopped too. Because you
That
got
flop
that's the
too.
jazz that's
Yep.
her first jazz record. And so they were probably like, you know what, you bring it back. We gave
Yeah.
you two chances. You're not about to strike out on the third. Bring
Which
it back.
which is crazy because Shaka always gave us some jazzy flavor. So it wasn't like she was going any way left with it. To me, I think it's also label politics, if you ask me. I don't think it's just Shaka because at the end of the day, Shaka was just making music. Hopefully she remembered it. And, she was just making music. And I think once you don't go what the label wants, they don't push it to me. Because you see 2 albums after What You Gonna Do For Me flops, right? And then you go for I Feel For You. No, they let her do that live album, the live back with Rufus.
Stomping at the Savoy,
Stomping at the
yeah.
Savoy.
Yes.
Yeah.
She go with that, and that's what got Ain't Nobody and all that on it. So it's like, oh, okay, we got Shaka back again where she is. And then you go to I Feel For You, and that is just a commercial success. So it's like, to me, I feel like in that artistic with, her producer, they just didn't believe in it. And I don't think they put any money or anything behind it. So I think it was going to end up not being, not selling and being a flop. And I think that's what the label wanted, to me.
Yeah. And the labels, they'll push a narrative like, oh, this person fell off, or this person flopped, blah, 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 blah. But don't say, like you said, Jared, the politics, like, no, they just decided not to push it because, yeah, they just decided not to push it. And then they want to put it on the artist.
Mm-hmm.
But yet, as a record company or distributor and all that shit, that's your job. You're getting paid and getting all the people money. You're to advertise, to distribute, and all of that. So it's just like, whether you love it or not, like, isn't that your job? Cause let her not do her job, and then she's
there's a
difficult,
problem.
and she's this and that. So it's irritating.
Yes.
You be like, oh, she fly. We go drop them, or you got to do it this way. It's like a manipulation to get them, like you said, to do what you wanted her to do in the first place.
And then go ahead, Malik. I'm sorry. Go
I
ahead.
mean, I guess like when you think about the this album and what follows and what precedes it, do you think there's a chance that like who was this album for? Because you have Tearing It Up, you have Best in the West, that's like country. You have Got to Be There, that's R&B, Bebop
R&B.
Melody, that's jazz. Twisted is a rock song. So Not to Worry. I mean, you got like so many different things on here. I wonder if it's like, well, you gave us this. What are we supposed to do with it? Like, who is it for? Because I feel like all the other stuff, it has sort of kind of a clear audience.
That's true. I think too, like I'll go back to saying when I think we were saying offline, they was working Shaka. That woman was working down. And I feel like let her get if she wants to behind her producer wants to be in that artistic bag, why not? Let her. She's done everything you wanted her to do. You got her in the studio every day. Like if it ain't a Rufus record since 74, well, 73. Since that album, that woman has been working in the studio constant. Then she went solo. So you got her doing 2 albums in 1 year. Like, and she finally, her and her producers like, well, let's try this. And like Elise said, Shaka is she's giving you money. Why not push this? You know what I'm saying? It shouldn't even matter. I mean, what genres is on there. It's like, all right, this is our Chaka Khan. Y'all do something. And like Elise said, y'all are getting paid for this. So y'all got to find a way to maneuver this. You know what I'm saying? You got to find a way to maneuver it. And I think they could have, but I think they were just lazy because they didn't want to. I really feel like they did not want to. After they heard it and heard all these different genres, they probably was like, And then again, it's the experimental era too. So then now everybody is just trying to hopefully anything sticks. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like, dang.
And it's hard. And you know what? Fans might not have been receptive to it. They didn't get a chance. And I think sometimes we have to give fans a little more credit than we do. Because you'd be surprised what people will embrace. But if you'll never know if you don't put something out. They could have.
Yep.
I mean, for me, that's bad for as huge a Chaka Khan fan I am. For me not to know a whole album, to just not know it,
Right.
to not even heard of it. And I'm sitting here, I have 20 some Chaka and Rufus albums in my collection and to miss a whole album. It's like, I don't know. But I get it, like, well, what's the audience? I mean, maybe she should have picked one of the, but even if she'd have picked one of those genres and did a whole album of it, they would have did the same shit. Cause you know they don't like to let black folks switch genres. And that shit's true today. But everybody else can. And get embraced right back into their fold. That don't happen for black artists. Especially not no woman.
Now Malik, was this album before Thriller?
Thriller comes out in 81 or is it 82?
82 in November.
Okay, Chaka comes out in November of 82 also.
Oh, because I know how, these researchers do. They be like, before Thriller, after Thriller. You know what I mean? So I'm thinking if It Matter came out before, maybe that's why people didn't get it. Because once Thriller came out and it hit the way it did, Michael had so many different genres on Thriller. You know what I mean? Maybe this Chaka Khan album would have worked now that the doors were open. You know what I mean? So I just didn't know if it came out before or after. I wasn't, but you said November, so it came out around the same time.
Yeah, they came out because I'm also thinking about some of Chaka's contemporaries around this time. I wonder if they were like they gotta choose something because I'm thinking like Patty's The Spirit in it. You have uh country, you have gospel, you have a Broadway song, a show tune, you have disco with the opening track. Uh, and then Natalie Cole's record, I think she released a country album around this time as well.
Yeah,
And
she
then
did.
all of them, all those albums, that came out. I really what did Aretha do in
Yeah,
82?
she get able
Jump
to
to It was
jump
a
to it.
hit.
Yeah,
But
that was
but in 81 she did Love All the Hurt Away. And that had a
yes,
whole bunch of stuff, and that didn't necessarily do
that
well.
flopped.
So I
Yeah.
was like, I wonder if, yeah, I just wonder if, I don't know, maybe that is really interesting. I'm just not realizing that, like, all these women tried to do, like, again, the artistic bag in time, like, in the same experimental period, and they all flopped for the most part. That is very interesting. I just made that correlation.
It was bad. Yeah, it was bad. That was, and I always take it back to when Elise talks about when we have somebody come in here talk about a New Jack record or a New Jack album, and we got some of our older artists trying that New Jack, and it was terrible, like terrible. It was like, what was you thinking?
That was a dark period for legacy artists, let me tell you.
Oh,
Yes.
listen, Aretha's New Jack album, I hate it.
Oh, Lord, baby. It was only a couple people, and LB did whole albums of it that was able to push through with like a single doing that. But it's few and far between.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to think, I might be lying. It might not be no.
The only because Diana's was terrible. Hers was terrible. That working
Wait, which one was
overtime.
Diana's working overtime?
Working overtime. Oh Lord, no. Even though I respect it because she tried. One thing about Diana, she was an artist that tried. She was like, I'm gonna try anything and see if it worked, if it stick. That album, no man. I think the only older artist that actually got through and they got through with a single was Gladys with Love Overboard.
Yeah, Love Overboard, and what's called yeah. I can't think.
Yeah,
What
and then
about Feels Like Another One? Is what y'all consider that New Jack?
Oh, Patty, yeah, Patty got through with that one after she done did a couple of them now. You know, Patty finally got one with feels like another one with her and Big Daddy Kane. She finally got it. But before then, whoo, Patty, girl, like it was, whoo, you know what I'm saying? Like, but wow, that's crazy. Like you made it like a lot of our legacy artists during that experimental period. It was hard. It was hard. You know what I'm saying? Aretha had to go get Luther. You know what I'm saying? She had to go get Luther. Shaka had to go back to, she had to go to Prince. You know what I'm saying? Like they had to kind of maneuver because them albums before then, it wasn't hitting. It was just like, ooh, and like you said, Melba Moore, that's my girl, and that hurt too. Like, that's why I'm happy she got with Kashif and all them and got to that, and that was that. But it was just like, oh, that experimental period really hurt a lot of our artists for real.
Was it more so, I guess, how did this period, which y'all say affected artists who are more so presented as soul or R&B? Because the thing is, with like the women we're talking about, Patty, Shaka, Natalie, Aretha, after these 82, 83 albums, Aretha does Who's Zooming Who, Patty has, The Winter in You, Shaka has I Feel For You, Natalie Cole has, what does she have? The song,
Jumpstart,
what?
is it Jumpstart?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
So then they all come back and they all like have these massive pop records. So was it the experimental period? Do you think that like put some kind of dampener on like R&B music if they decided to just completely switch directions?
It hurt with us coming out of the disco era. You know what I mean? And that was it was strictly R&B for real. Like even yeah, you gotta dance to it, it's cool. But it's always a shift. And a lot of people don't understand the shift, even though disco was put out for some bullshit, to be honest. Like that whole period was bullshit. But it was like once we got into 81, 82 with technology and all that, it just changed the production of everything. And our artists, and this is the crossover time where our black artists now want to be number one on pop charts and all of this kind of stuff. So now it's like, it's kind of taking it back to the beginning of what Motown was. Let's take the soul out of these records so it can appeal to these, appeal to the mainstream audience. And that was the problem. Patty was not that girl. She can't do that. Like Patty has a voice and she just Aretha, Shaka, Natalie, like a lot of that. That's why, and I don't know if y'all agree, it made it a little easier for Whitney to come through to appeal to the white audience because of what they were dealing with that, because them artists was just too soulful. So Clyde was like, now wait a minute, that ain't working. Because the only person he would talk about that sold so many records was Donna Summer. He was like, Donna Summer sold 5 million, and but nobody has never done it. So it made it a little easier for Whitney to sing these songs to appeal to that audience to get number one pop records. Because during that time, and I think it was from one of your docs, Malik, how there was nobody black that had a number one record from, you know what I'm saying, from like 80 to like 84. It was, well, after Michael, but, it was hard. So it was like, I think that was the transition of taking the soul out of stuff and appealing to mainstream. And that hurt a lot of our women that just sang. So it took that out. So that's how I feel. I feel that way. So.
We also have to keep in mind the age fact, the ageism, especially
yes.
for women.
Yes.
Men get wrong. Well, men can get old and about a blink of eye, but a woman, she get a couple lines on the face and we gotta put her out the pasture.
That's true, T. That's true.
But they get a little more leeway. But by this time, all the artists we say were entering their 30s and 40s and 50s.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, our
It's
girl, I
America.
always
Ages.
forget how young Shaka is compared to her contemporaries, but like the women who Whitney would be compared to Dion, Aretha, Patty, Gladys, Diana, they're all 45 and, nearing 50.
Mhm.
But I don't know. I don't know because I would, I would never say this in public, but I also think like Whitney would sort of kind of be a reason why the older girls don't have as much success because, she comes in
Yeah.
and they're like, oh, she's only 20, so because I mean, at one point you could be 50 and have a #1 hit if it slapped,
Yeah.
Mhm.
and then like afterwards we don't really see that as much either, you know,
Mhm.
but I'm trying to
But
think.
And part of what killed that was music videos,
yep,
Hmm.
and that's where
because then you could
ageism comes into
see.
play.
But when you just hear it, you might see it like American Bandstand, Soul Train, whatever, the people singing, but that still was different. That wasn't like the saturated thing, and it was just like, no, I see this band and other people dancing, so I kind of connect to it in that way. But now you
Mhm.
got these videos focusing squarely on the artists, and
Mhm.
yeah,
Yep,
so
and
that
that's
yeah,
what.
that definitely changed it for people.
Oh yeah, so people could see her. And how did T.S. Madison said in the show? She was like, Whitney set the girls down. Like, and like it is funny as it is, it's just the truth because it was like after she came and she hit, and I mean hit because we ain't gonna lie, them first two singles didn't hit, but after You Give Good Love and all that, it was a wrap. Like Whitney started sitting the girls down after a while, and then it was like they were competing with her. And then that's what messed everything up too. You know what I'm saying? Because it was like again, and like Elise said, ageism. Whitney is young. The videos are it now. You know what I mean? Everybody's
She
looking at
young, she pretty, she's skinny, and she don't offend her features don't offend the white.
But
right.
then they ended up
She
aging
don't have
her.
no big old nose, and she not she not my color. Like so,
Yeah.
she was easier to that ain't her fault. That's just what the label would clap like they were banking on that.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and
Mm-hmm.
it did pay off. Did
Mm-hmm.
it hurt music? Did it hurt Whitney? Fuck yeah, I
Yeah, it
did.
did. It did. Oh, it did.
But
It
they
did.
ended up aging her, which I think is so interesting because she only looked her age maybe for the first album. And then after that, she starts wearing Sissy's wigs, Her and Dion had the same I'm Your Baby Tonight wig, So, you know, she was wearing stockings
But you know what?
to
As somebody who lived through the '80s, that that was the style. When you look at pictures, with,
really.
people in high school, and you see the group pictures, everybody, them people look younger now than they did when they was in high school, because that's kind of style. Some
Mm.
big crazy wigs, because the white girl had the big like teased Aquanet hair and
Mm-hmm.
mom, what we now call mom jeans and baggy stuff. So part of that was of the time.
Mm.
Yeah. And I was there, and that's facts. Cause my mom looked younger in the '90s and in the
Yes.
than she did in the '80s.
I can say
Mm.
that about my mom too. When I look at pictures, it's the truth. Like when I look at pictures of my mom in the '80s, I'm like, and then when she got in the '90s, my mom looked like so refreshed and so young and so this, and I'm like, what was this? And she was just like, the big broad shoulders and the this and the that. My mom was like, that was just the style. She had the Anita Baker cut. Like, I'm like, what? So like I'm looking at, but then in the '90s, my mom is like, it's fashionable. She's with the braids now, and this, and this, and she's wearing brighter colors and the cross colors and the this and the that. It's like a whole different thing. So Alicia, absolutely right. And see, the problem was after a while, Shaka and them was not gonna do what these labels wanted them to do. They already been in it too long. So Shaka and
Mhm.
them was like, I ain't wearing that. I ain't wearing that wig. Shaka, like, I like the wig that I got. Thank you. And that's it. Like, I'm not, I'm not doing any of that. Like, forget all of that. And see, that's why they were able, because Whitney was young, they were able to push that on her. Because Phyllis wasn't gonna do it either.
When you're young,
No.
yeah. Oh hell no, Phyllis won't and
And
didn't
won't. And that's why
and
Clyde was
chase.
like, I need to move on. because
Yeah.
it was gonna be her. Phyllis was gonna be that girl.
Yeah.
But you know,
And
before Phyllis, it was the very first woman he signed was Shirley Brown.
Shirley Brown. Oh, Aretha
Yeah,
did
and
not
he
like
had
that thing.
yeah,
Ooh.
and she said because he only did one album, the '77 album, and she said he had me trying to sing like Barbara Streisand, and we had a falling out about that. It's so,
I know, could
it's
you
so
even
good.
imagine?
Could you imagine? Like, yes, like you like, no, but see, and then he signed Angela Bofield. He signed
Hmm.
her and then had her trying to sing white. And then, then he tried with Phyllis. Phyllis, like, you done lost your ever loving mind. I ain't doing it. It ain't happening. They got into arguments. And he said, you know what? I need to find somebody young. I need to find somebody because this is the only way that it's gonna happen. You know what I mean?
I
Because
mean,
a young
did he
person, they're
sign
hungry.
Dion?
Yeah. Young person, they're hungry, they're pliable,
Yep.
Hmm.
Yep. Yep.
and they don't know shit.
Yeah.
Even if they come from a musical family, they don't know shit.
That's right.
Because you're young, you ain't paying attention. This shit be
That's
right in
right.
your face, and you just be like, nah, it's my life. I
Right.
was young once.
Right.
It was a long
Right.
time ago, but
So do y'all think that like that plays a role into like once you from Shaka, she transitions to the full pop with I Feel For You. But then after that, what is it? Is Destiny CK. Is there one more? Am I missing one? Oh, there's The
uh
Woman I Am. But I feel
yeah,
like
because the
there's one
woman
in
I am is
between.
92.
Is there one in between CK and The Woman I Am?
I think it was like a remix project, I think.
oh yeah, that thing. Ooh, Mark can't stand that shit. I
Okay.
know.
Yeah. So yes, Destiny CK, the remix project, you're right. And then The Woman I Am, all of those flopped. So they just sort of kind of washed their hands of her. Yeah,
Yeah.
but also she was at the Warner. I heard
Yes.
that wasn't a good label back then. I mean, not that any label is good, but I have not heard particularly positive things about Warner Records.
I I didn't start really paying attention to Warner until Prince started talking heavily how bad it was. You know what I mean? I didn't pay too much attention to Warner Brothers for real because I feel like everybody that was on it seemed to be all right, but when Prince started to say, "Wait a minute, I ain't getting what I'm supposed to be getting," it made me start looking at people who was on Warner Brothers, and I said, "Wait a minute, Shaka was on Warner Brothers." You know what I mean? But Shaka didn't write either, so it was like a lot of that money wasn't hers. You know what I mean? So but nah, I never really heard too much of bad things before then. But like you said, ain't no label that good. So I mean, quiet as this cat.
Because I thought Stephanie Mills was on there, but I think she was on 20th Century Fox.
She was on 20th Century. Yes, yes,
Okay.
yeah, 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 yeah. She came out with an '82 album too. That was
Yes, which one is that? Is that her with the Dominican blowout on the cover?
child,
Y'all
Is,
stupid.
child,
is
and
that
I
that
think that
album?
is the one with ain't that is the one with Never Knew Love Like This on that one.
No, that's okay. Tantalizingly Hot is the one, the 82 album. That's her in the pool on the
Oh,
cover.
okay, okay,
Okay.
Oh
okay.
yeah. So you said what? So shit, they was working Stephanie. Cause look, she had an album in 79, 80, 81, 82, 83, 84, 85, 87, 89, 92, 94.
I think
And
she,
did. And did. These
she,
poor ladies.
but I think so. She in this experimental period we're talking about, yeah. But I don't remember. Okay, I know Keep Away Girls. Uh,
Cause yeah, 80 was Never Knew Love Like This Before. That was Sweet
hmm.
Sensation.
Sweet
81
Sensation. Okay.
was Stephanie. That had Two Hearts with Teddy on
And
the
Night
album.
Games.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then Tantalizingly Hot. Uh the fuck? Who knows?
Ain't that got medicine song on it?
No, that's on the
Yo.
84 album, I believe.
Okay.
But that's her trying to make that, transition into the, I would say, the pop stuff
Oh,
too.
I don't know none of these songs off of Tantalizing. And she has some fire production on this album and writing. And Two May, Reggie Lucas, Ash for the Simpson, all type shit. But I don't know none of these songs.
back to the beginning, like Chaka. You said I don't know none of these.
It
You would
was the same,
probably
and it
know
was the
Keep
same
Away
year.
Girls.
It was the same year. It was the same year.
You would probably know Keep Away Girls. That's the
Keep
only
Away
song
Girls
she's
with
sing.
that's
Oh,
Valerie and
okay.
Yeah,
I do know that song.
yeah.
I just was
that's like the only
scanning
one
that. I
people
do know that
know.
one. Yeah. But the rest of them,
Yes,
yeah, I don't know
this
them.
is interesting. Hmm, that is
I don't
very
know this
interesting.
83 album, Merciless.
I think that has a Pilot era on it, and a Prince song as well.
Oh yeah. How come
Oh
you don't
yeah,
quote me on that one?
Yeah.
Okay.
I
Okay.
ain't never heard her version. I don't know this album. I don't know Pilot Era. And maybe I need to hear
Ooh.
it. I don't know it by name. Is it one of them songs where they where the chorus is not the name of the song? Because I don't know.
She asked if you're a Whitney fan, she has Eternal Love on there too, and her and Whitney recorded it the same year.
Here. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't
Mhm.
know this album. Wow, I got a lot of shit to go back to.
Oh.
I really don't know it.
Wow. Yeah.
That's another one I love down.
Mm-hmm.
Seven.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. So I got a long list of shit I got to go back and listen to for real.
None of her
Mm-hmm.
stuff is available though, for whatever reason.
Oh, I didn't think about that.
Yeah.
But yeah.
None of her stuff is on any stream, and you just gotta go on YouTube.
Dude, and yes, because Stephanie, I think her start on streaming, like If I Were Your Woman, I think
Hmm.
on streaming, and other than that, you got like
Oh.
the compilations with her, and that's about it.
Yeah.
And when I listen to stuff, I haven't even looked at the streaming because I just like to play her records
Play
or
records,
play
yeah.
vinyl. So I didn't realize that stuff wasn't on here.
Mm,
I try to listen
yeah,
to my physical stuff as much as I can.
yeah. Well,
Cause
it's
soon, kind of hopefully that's gonna be your only option, or the only it's gonna be the best option.
mm-hmm.
They be taking stuff down and it's too inconsistent. At least the physical, I got that, I got it, and it's mine, and I got it. And can't nobody take it
Yeah.
unless they physically come in my house and take it up out my home. And I don't suggest that to no one.
Hello. Oh god. Oh
But
man.
yes, we went on a tangent, and I love it.
I love it too. I love it. I love it that we went. Yes, I love it. I kind of knew we were with Malik. I knew it. I knew it. I knew we were not gonna. We were gonna talk about the song for a little bit, but I knew we were gonna go somewhere else, which was great because we went into that whole year of our artists, like for real. So
Yeah, and I just actually learned something, like because it's like it did not click to me that everybody was sort of kind of doing the same thing at the same time and then just
mm-hmm.
transition. And so I'm like, wow, I did not realize how that affected, our R&B girls.
Yeah,
So I'm really because an era that also sticks out to me is like how the R&B artists who came out in the 90s, I think like the way they tried to transition into the 2000s, a lot of them that now that hurts my heart too. You know, like
ooh, child, things gonna get easier.
like
So, so that
that.
believe, oh gosh. So I actually don't even want you to come back and talk about an album. What can you talk to you like about an era
Era,
or
yes.
or
Yes.
or just an artist and like they're kind of what you do, but in a more laid back way.
Oh yes, I would love that. I love talking about
So
artists
we
and
gotta
eras and things because that's actually how all of my research, formed. So like when I started with I Love Aretha Franklin, I found out, okay, well, there's Aretha Franklin. Oh, well, they compare Shirley Brown to her. Oh, well, this happened to her, and it connects to Whitney. Or like you have Margie Joseph, who they didn't like her because they thought she was trying to imitate her, and so you just find all these people and you connect the dots, and then, yeah. So I would love to come back and talk about an era
Yes,
of stuff,
God. He said
So
it, y'all. So he got to come back now. He's
yeah,
gonna sit on the show, so we good.
Yeah.
yeah.
Because I think, like, on our show, yeah, we talk about albums and we kind of touch on kind of the history and how it connects, but it's just like not enough time to like kind of do an overview and a timeline of other stuff that was going on. We try to do it, but you can't do it every time. And I would love that to see how it connects. Because look at all the connections we made just in this conversation.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
That part.
Yes.
That
And
part.
that's
like
also how I
1982 was the
process music.
Bermuda Triangle of Black women soul artists. Like it's just
Yeah.
like, what do you do? So
Yeah, and like I said, that's how I always context and understand like music is like I just have to understand it in the context of the time, in the context of their contemporaries and what's
uh-huh.
going on. So yeah, I
Yeah.
would love to do that. So yeah, just let me know and we'll make it happen.
Oh yes, indeed. Yes.
Yes. Well, we thank you for hanging out with us, but tell folks how they can find you if you want to be found. And
Okay. I'm Black Music Archive across all things, and if you want to get in touch with me personally, it's Malik Milik Kashad Kashad on all social media platforms. So yeah.
yay. Well, thank you. Oh, were you about to say something, Jared?
Oh no. I
Oh,
ain't
okay.
about to say nothing. You know, I done went. I done gave him all his flowers. There's none left.
We got plants.
All
But
right, we got the plans. You can.
I got some seeds and herbs and things. But no, we also thank all our viewers for hanging out with us with family around here. So bring us some more cousins
Yes,
and
yes.
share, like, subscribe, all that stuff. Tell a friend, tell an enemy, tell a stranger about us. And we will catch y'all on the next Catch That. Peace. Hey y'all, and welcome back to another fan mini episode of Catch That, where we get to know our friends through their favorite R&B songs. I am Naturally Elise, and that's my bro.
Jr.
And we are the R&B representatives, and we are so excited, so excited to have back one of our earlier guests who was
Mm-hmm.
down, in the trenches, coming back to hang out with us again because we enjoyed her so much the first time, and that is the very, very beautiful and good sis Lydia.
Hi guys. Thank you so much for having me back. I'm so excited. I love talking about music. You know, I'm a yapper. I love it.
So here for it. So before we jump into the song that you chose today, how about you tell folks a little bit about yourself and about your platform
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
to the good folks?
I'm Lydia Marie. I'm your favorite beauty blogger over the age of 40. I create beauty content for women over 40. So I'm your go-to for all makeup, skincare, good times, randomness, all that stuff, and music, of course. And you can find me at Beauty by El Marie _ on Instagram and TikTok, and Beauty by El Marie on Facebook. So that's me.
Yay. And yes, folks, we'll put all that information so you can check her out. Follow her YouTube channel. Go ahead and
Yes, please.
subscribe.
Yes, please follow that
Do that.
YouTube channel.
Okay. All right. So now we got all the housekeeping out of the way. How about you tell us what song you picked today, and do you remember hearing it for the first time?
I picked You Mean the World to Me by Toni the Braxton, a living legend. Thank you very much. And I just realized today is Libra season. My good sis is a Libra like I am. So perfect timing. I remember hearing You Mean the World to Me after I saw the video. That was back when videos used to be on TV, like in rotation, and it was on BET. And I had heard Toni Braxton's album, and I think I was coming out of high school when her album dropped, and I saw and I was like, that's her. She's cute. Oh, she's cute and she can sing. But the song just caught my attention because it was like it was just longing, and I love a bridge, so I was like, dang, this song this was a good slow jam. That was my first thought, like, man, this song hits. So I remember seeing the video first, and then I was like,
It was a beautiful
what
video.
song is this? And then I went and got the cassette and put it in my car, and it was on repeat quickly after that.
Yes. So we always love when somebody come on here with a Toni song.
Yes.
We cause we love Toni or album. We love
Mhm.
Toni down
Yes.
down to the R&B representatives.
Mhm.
We goes up for Toni always.
Good. Thank God. I love Toni. Yes.
Yes.
Y'all are funny.
Yeah. And what I and the song you picked is one of my very favorite Toni Braxton songs for
Yeah.
sure.
It's in
It's
my
way
top
up
3.
high.
Yeah, mine
Same.
too. It's definitely in my
Yeah.
top 3 for sure.
It's just her, just the way she emotes on that song. I mean, she always gonna emote, but it's something about in that song where it's just very
She
captivating. It's hypnotizing.
It is. It is. And you know what I figured out? Toni is a lover girl. So she's very good at the swooning and the calling you in, like she's pleading in that song. Like, look, you don't see you mean the world to me. Like, even at the end when she's riffing, and it's just a good, like, central, but still it's just a lover girl anthem. And I'm just like, I get it, Toni. We lover girls. I feel you. Like, I get it. I get it.
Yeah. But yes, that go ahead.
Oh yeah, I listen. Like the video is just so beautiful to me. You
Yes.
know what I'm saying? Like, and she looks
Mhm.
so good because you got to think. You could tell when people first video is because
Yes.
another sad love song. You could tell the quality of it,
Yes. Yes.
and then after that, you know what I'm saying? And then after that, you start seeing the
Yeah, I know.
videos get a lot more glamorous. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
And when she
Mhm.
got to this, it was like because it's the 4th single by now. So
Mhm.
you looking at the video like, okay, yeah, now the budget has gone higher and higher and
Yeah.
higher.
The
You know what
see-through
I'm saying? Like
glass, the house.
yeah,
Yeah.
beautiful budgets, beautiful budgets. I'm telling you.
Yes.
But this is one of my favorite Toni records too. And at least no, I'm not the big person on singles for real. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
I'd be like,
Mhm.
nah, I don't want the single to, but it's something just about this song to me. Like you
Mhm.
said, the way she emotes, the emotion of saying you mean the world to me. You know what I mean? And
Mhm.
one
Mhm.
thing I will always say, and I'll stand by this, when Toni gets to a bridge, she is going to eat that bridge up. It don't matter what song it is, she's going to eat a bridge. And it's like I
Every
wait
time.
for Toni to get to a bridge because she's gonna
Mhm.
get there and then she's gonna hold a note and just
Mhm.
take you there. And that's
And she
why,
gave us a
we
little
did
growl in that bridge
yes,
too.
like that
Yes.
little
I said,
row. You know
Toni
what I'm saying?
growl. Yes. Yes. You know how I feel about a bridge now. You know I love a
Me too.
bridge.
Come
I
on,
love
use
a
your heart.
bridge.
Come on, use
Yes.
your heart. Yes.
Okay. Thank you. Now, if a girl
Yeah.
can carry a bridge, I'm with it. And those songs. And let's just talk about the bridge killer, the songwriter Daryl Simmons, because he can write a bridge, and Toni
And
sang that bridge. Okay.
and
Let's
can
talk about
and
it. Yes.
do.
And the favorite songs of that era, Daryl Simmons penned with that bridge. Come on now. It was
He
like
he's one of
easy.
he's the silent, I think he's the silent writer. He's the
Yes.
silent out of them. Like I always put him kind of like we was just talking about Philly Soul in the beginning,
Mhm.
right? And how
Mhm.
and it's always Gambling Huff, but people forget about Tom Bell. You know what I mean?
Yes.
I feel like I put Tom Bell and Daryl Simmons kind of in the same because everybody think, okay, Babyface and L.A. Reid, they just did it. No, 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 no. Daryl Simmons is the
He's
reason
the
for a
glue.
lot of these. He's that glue
He's the
that you
glue. That's
need.
right.
You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
And you could tell the records that he did with them. You
Mhm.
could tell the
Mhm.
records just LA and Face. You could tell the records just Face, but you can
Mhm.
really tell the records with Daryl, LA, and Face. And this is
Yes.
one of them. You know what I
Yes.
mean? Because he will
Yes.
write the hell out of a bridge. Hello,
Mhm.
we love the bridge. Can we talk? We love
Can
the bridge of my. We love
Let's
the
talk
bridge, the
about it.
Superwoman. Like all of these bridges he
Let's
wrote,
talk about
end
it.
of the road. You know what I mean? So it's like Daryl deserves a lot more. So
He
shout out to We
does.
Sound Crazy because they interviewed him and
I
gave
heard
him
that.
his
I
love.
played that interview twice. I was like, what is happening? And it was so much that I didn't remember until he started talking. And I'm like, he's your favorite songwriter's favorite songwriter. Period.
Period.
You don't see him like LA is the personality. Babyface is the musical genius, you know, the musicality, but Daryl is the glue. He's gonna want to bring it all together all the time.
Yeah.
And I was just like, if it wasn't like, I could tell with Toni ballads the difference from when they were not working together. When you hear it, the longing and like in this yearning, and even with, you know, the other songs on the album, like Breathe Again, you could hear that heartstring pulling. And that to me is the gift that he has with the artist. Like he does it. He brings it out of them. He brings it out of them.
I'm getting my life. Keep talking.
You didn't know Lydia was an R&B? You didn't know Lydia was an R&B representative?
Clearly, what she is, because she proved it when she did Use Your Heart with SWV.
Yeah.
So,
And then, but I'm telling you, it be the bridge that really, really matters.
I'm saying. And you know what? When I hear her sisters do that, and I'm like, they sound like Toni, but that's not Toni. Toni had that, like, it almost sounded like she was crying when she did that little riff at the end. And then when she starts growling that baby, you know, it's like she was like in the rain on her knee. Carl Thomas kind of emotional when you hear that. It's just that good. It's just that good.
Because that's why when like Tamar be like imitating her and stuff, it still don't. Yes, like on its face sonically, yes, it sounds the same, but it's not that same long. And then Tamar be playing. So on top of that, and these songs ain't about playing.
No,
like You Mean the World to me. That ain't no playing song. That's some very serious business.
And that's why Babyface said why everybody connected to Toni. He said it was the pain that she sung through these records, how we related to her. You know what I'm saying? Because just like you said, Lydia, how she got to that bridge, it felt like she was crying, like probably in the studio crying. But Toni, you know, coming from her religious background, she didn't know what this song was about. She was just singing it. You know what I'm saying? Not knowing she was emoting that emotion that the song needed. You know what I'm saying? Because they said that Daryl Simmons will have you sing a song over and over and over from top to bottom. So Toni might have been crying because she was done with it. Because she probably was like, again.
But you know, even with people that ain't been through something, I mean, think about how Monica was singing on her debut album. She was singing like she was like 45-year-old government worker.
Right.
I don't think it's so much going through something. I think some people just have an innate ability, not just in music, but just to tap into emotions, to read something and be like, oh, that means something. Let me put this on it. I think some people just have that empathetic thing to where they can interpret emotion without having gone through it.
And also, to bring it back, I related to her too because Toni is a former church girl. I'm a former church girl. When you sing like that in church, you can bring that emotion out in other areas. So I feel like that she drew from that as well because she's used to sitting at the piano, singing spirituals, singing hymns. And when you sing those kind of songs, you feel that type of emotion as well. So when she put it in the R&B, she had that emotion. She had that. She might not have been going through a breakup or anything. And that's what I like about this song too, is that it doesn't make me feel sad, though it is emotional, but it makes me feel. You know what I'm saying? It just it makes you feel, but it doesn't like put me in a bad space or anything. It just makes me feel like I feel you, girl. Like that kind of feeling. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, and you're right, because that's why Whitney loved her. You know what I'm saying? Because Whitney would tell you, I love singers. If you can't sing, I don't like you. Like Whitney was very to the point with it. And you know how everybody, she used to, during her Bodyguard tour, she used to do a lot of these songs, right? And she would all kind of copy Toni with, I just stopped there. Like she would do shit like that, like the Breathe Again and You Mean the World to Me. She would do shit like that. But she said, I know that girl was from church. I can hear it. I can hear that she was from church. Even the growl. And Whitney said church is always, for a singer, that is our beginning.
Yep.
That is our foundation. So once we got that, we're able to put anything anywhere. So you're right. Toni might have not been going through that, but her being in the church, she's able to emote the emotion you need because that was her foundation, to be honest with you. You know what I'm saying? So you're right. You're absolutely right. It was just like Toni was getting it. And just to think that this song was for Anita Baker.
Can you listen? I
can't.
I mean, I get it, but I can't. That emotion, the sound would have been great, but I don't think the emotion would have been there like that. Not like that for this.
Yeah, the emotion would have been different, but I can hear it, and it still would have been a really good song.
Yeah.
Because it would have been I agree. In the Anita way of emotion, in her way. It would have sounded different, but it wouldn't have been the same.
Right. I mean, I think Anita would have had that emotion as well, but she wouldn't have had that longing. I don't know how to describe it. You know what I'm saying? I think Anita would have done her big one and it would have sounded great because it's Anita Baker. Like, come on.
Right.
But I don't, it's something about that and Toni's voice and that emotion that she does when she sings songs like that just made it click. I think it was just like the perfect choice.
Yeah, and the thing about Anita, she knew that. She passed on it.
Yeah. She said that's the girl on the
knew
demo
what
sing.
she could do with that song.
Let the girl on the demo sing it. Thank you, Miss Anita. We appreciate you.
Yeah.
For real.
Yes. She knew real. That composition wasn't right. Catch it.
Right.
It's like me. Somebody sent me some sort of job to do. And I'm like, I could do an acceptable job. But my good sis over there, she an expert at this. Let me pass that opportunity to her. At least give her the first right to say no, and a right of refusal. So I appreciate Anita for that.
And I then also Toni was also able to bring the youngness out of it as well. You know what I mean? Because at the end of the Anita is already what? This is 93, 94, right? So Anita is on the Rhythm of Love. She's on the I Apologize and all of that. She's adult contemporary. Y'all know how the industry do. They age us. And they do. And that's just what it is. And I think Toni was able to connect to the young girls now. You know what I'm saying? That Anita wouldn't have been able to hit. You know what I'm saying? She wouldn't have been able to hit. It would have been on adult contemporary and they would have kept it there. See, Toni was able to make this a pop hit because of the youngness and she was able to connect to the girls and all this kind of stuff. Because in the video, she's wearing jeans, a crop top shirt, like she's very like she's like around the way girl.
Around the way girl, yes, exactly.
Yeah, like Anita couldn't have pulled that off. You know what I'm saying? And wouldn't have, and then Toni just gave you the dramatics that you need because like she got to the bridge and Toni got on her knees and giving you all of this. Anita ain't doing all that. We lucky she got to sit in a chair on I Apologize. Like, for real. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, she was right. I mean, she was giving you all of this. No, Toni was like, baby, like giving you all of that. And it just wouldn't have came out. So I'm glad that Anita actually passed on this one. Was like, yeah, pass on that one. Another sad love song she passed on. Give Me Your Heart, she passed on. So a lot of these Toni records, she passed on. Which was
a gift.
Toni because an amazing body of work.
Flawless. It gave Toni a flawless debut album. Period. And I can pull that up now and not even for nostalgia's sake and know the songs, know the hooks and bridges. Like we don't have bridges anymore. So when you listen to songs like that, you're like, what is this part? The songs aren't 2 minutes anymore. It's a full song. It's a full composition from start to finish. And she killed it. Like it's flawless. It's just flawless. It's just a flawless song.
And it's just the fact that you wait for that. Like I wait for the dun, 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 dun. I'm like, well, I'm feeling in my heart that I know. Like, it's like, okay, we're coming. We're coming.
And then the harmonies, when she stacked them harmonies on Don't Let It Be Too Late. I'm like, Toni Braxton, come on, girl. Yes. Oh, love it.
Baby, baby. Okay.
Yeah, that tear in her voice is like, is she crying or
Yeah.
does she just feel it? It's so good. It's so good. And I went when I said that, I was like, let me go back and watch the video. The video was fly. She looked fly. The dude was in it. She just at the piano in her element at the piano. And I'm like, God, yeah, that's right. Toni plays the piano. Like she's a singer and and she can compose and stuff. It's just that kind of 90s jam, that slow jam. Those are one for the books. Those are the ones I love and I can listen to over and over.
And you could definitely tell that from our show, people love this Toni debut because we did the debut with Easton. We did the whole debut. We talked about the whole album. Then Dania came and talked about 7 whole days.
7 whole days.
And then you came and talked about You Mean the World to Me. Like, people really love this record. Like,
yes.
Like, people really love this record. So that's when I saw that You Mean the World to Me. I was just like, wow. Like, we talked about the album. Somebody else picked the song. And then Lydia's coming back and talking about. That's when you know that you have a great body of work. Yes. So people going to keep coming back just to talk about it. And me and Elise was fine with it. Because You Mean the World for me, we love us some Toni.
Okay. And I was going back and forth between that and Love Should Have Brought You Home last night. And I was like, which one to go to? And then I was like, but I really love the bridge on Another Sad Love Song. That's probably one of my favorite bridges of all time, is on Another Sad Love Song. But then I was like, but I've been playing You Mean the World to Me a lot lately. And I was like, I think I'm going to pick this one just to dive a little deeper.
You would have picked Love Should Have Brought You Home. It'd have brought me back to some memories. I probably would have got angry in this mug. You Mean the World to Me, even though this is a serious record too, but it's kind of the bridge, man. Again, that's why I had to talk about Toni's bridges, man. And I love to see her do it live back then. You know what I'm saying? Because I love looking at her live performance from her debut. I just love her debut era, period.
I did too.
Toni was it was something new. It was a breath of fresh air.
It was.
Don't get me wrong, we love the Whitney and Mariah and them girls and the Mickeys and the girls like that. But it was something different that Toni was just a flavor that she was giving that every other girl just wasn't. But she still gave you Round the Way, but she still was in her gowns and stuff. But like in her videos, like How Many Ways, which is a favorite of ours.
Yes.
Look at the this
jeans
one.
Look at the crop top and the backwards cap. Yes.
Yes. and the shorts. And then, she's wearing the midriff. Like, she's really one of the Round the Way girls that Whitney couldn't have did no mess like that. No. Mariah couldn't have did no mess like that. Like, we wanted to see Toni like that. And it was just, she killed it, man.
She came in and she, to me, filled the gap because she wasn't as young as Monica. She wasn't as seasoned and polished as Whitney, and she wasn't like the super duper duper songbird like Mariah, right? But to me, she filled the gap in between the three. So you had that Around the Way girl. You had that she didn't sound like anybody, even though Anita and her could sing the same. She didn't sound like anybody at that time, right? So she sounded different. She had this deep voice. She was cute. She was doing these videos that were like kind of down to earth kind of videos. It wasn't like she had her sisters in the first video and all that kind of stuff. So to me, she kind of filled the gap of the R&B girls at that time. She was in her 20s or whatever, and it was just like, who is this girl? Like, I like her. Like, she seemed like she could be your cousin or something that could really really sing. You know what I'm saying? But she would come with that and when she did that that song on Boomerang, and I was like, who is that? Like, what is this song? It's so perfect.
Give me my heart,
yeah. And I was like, and I was like, it's the same girl. Okay, yeah. So it was just like she filled that R&B gap at the time, and she just took off. And they were just a match. They were a great team, songwriters. She had the musicality behind her. She could sing, so it wasn't like no filler songs. Every song she was blowing on that debut album, like she was singing her face off on that album, and it was just like stunner. It was stunning. It was stunning.
It was like you said. It was such a change that we needed because it was like, again, now we needed something young and fresh, And I'm glad that, Mary came, Toni came. It was like, oh, we now have these young girls where the new young girls can relate to. So now it's like, okay, yeah, Whitney, we love you. You're the voice, but we can look at her. She, you know what I'm saying? She styles like us. She sings, but we can look at her and relate to her. You know what I'm saying? And it was like Toni came at that time. Yo, she came out at what? This album came out in July of 93. A summer type of album for real. So you could play this and it's just like your mama can like it. You know what I'm saying? We could like it, our age can like it, and everybody could just gel to it. And that's one thing that I like about this song, because when this song comes on, me and my mom is in the car singing. You know what I'm saying? Like we singing, and my mom like, well, I got the bridge this time. All right.
Oh yeah, my mom. And that's another thing about our singers. When we were teenagers, our parents liked them too. My mama fights about some Toni Braxton. That's her girl. But my mama, she's Secrets album girl. She's Secret.
Oh, really?
She's a Secrets girl.
Does she like Unbreak My Heart?
She do, but my mama likes songs like that, and I don't like that song. But
I don't like that song. That's my least favorite Toni song.
And every time somebody else comes on the show and we say that, they be like, "What do you mean?" No. I'm like, I don't like it. I think it's boring. I don't like it.
Same.
Toni didn't like it either.
I thought she doesn't.
Nope.
Toni didn't like it when she first heard it. She said it sounded very Disney to her. Like it sounded very Disney. But she said, I'm glad that I did do it because it's really my biggest hit. So it's understandable, but y'all can't get mad if we don't like it, if the singer didn't like it either. Like,
I wanted to pluck my ears out. Every time I hear it, I'd be like, please turn my ears off. I can't. And she's so much better than it. Like, people love it, and I just be like, I can't do it. That's my least favorite of hers. And I have many favorites, but that is not one of them. I skip past it every time.
Every time.
Sorry, Toni. Sorry, girl.
Sorry, it's like sorry, girl, but you didn't like it either. So
so
we like other stuff. We don't like that.
I was very glad when they released the Libra album though, because that's probably my second favorite album of all of hers. I'll play that from start to finish.
I enjoyed the Libra album as well. I think
fun.
It just did not have. She needed a Unbreak My Heart on there as a single, and so it could really blow. You know what I mean?
So people would pay attention.
She didn't have Babyface and L.A. Reid in them at the time, so it was like she was doing this all on her own. So it was like she didn't have the backing that she should have, because that album Libra is the shit. Like,
it is.
It really is. If you're a Toni fan, you will enjoy it. You know what I'm saying? So I'm gonna listen to that.
I think for me, it's Take This Ring, You Mean the World to Me. It's Let It Flow. That's my jam.
JR, let it flow.
Yes.
Let it flow.
Don't like Let It Flow?
Junior.
I see it in your face.
How you feel about Let It Flow?
Huh?
Which makes me mad because it's one of my favorites.
Mine too. I love
and it's
it
like
so
my
much.
because we just did a Wait and Exhale episode like a few months ago.
And everybody in the live gave me fever. You hear me?
For blood.
What?
And for blood. Like, they was like, how dare you? Like, I'm like,
that's one of my morning wake up songs. That's one of my woo sigh songs.
Sorry, bro. I'm not with you when you're wrong.
Oh, no. I get it. Because now I listen the way y'all ate me up that on the live day. Now I listen to it differently and I get it. I'm like, okay, all right, it works. You know what I mean?
It works. Feeling it. I hear you.
Right. But I'm like, it works. I'm here for it because, that was a day. I was ready to get off the live. That's how bad they got in on me.
we do that, brother, so bad. I'm sorry, bro. I'm sorry.
It's fine. No. People really revere that song. Like, everybody love it. So it was just like, how dare you not like this song? But I was like, it means the world to you, but not to me.
Right.
See what you did there.
You know how on
Spotify
they have the repeat list or your wrap up list every year. I think Let It Flow has been on my wrap up list since like 2015. I was going through something, and I just needed to put that soundtrack on. And I think "Let It Flow" has made it to my repeat. So when I hear people, I'm like, oh, and I'm like, okay, I respect your choice. It's fine. That could be my song. It doesn't have to be.
My Tony song that always end up on my repeat is "How Many Ways." It all.
That's my
That's one of those songs I
favorite
can't
song
play it.
record.
If I listen, I can't play it just one time. I have to run it back because I just get. It's fun. It's a fun
It is
song to
fun.
sing.
It is, and the video was super cute. Yeah, it was very. That was a good time.
Yeah, any song you give me, if it got some counting in it, I'm
Yeah.
there, present, and accounted
That's
for.
the jam.
Give me some counting on some days or some days of the week, nigga. Huh.
Yeah, I get it. I get it. That is a bop, though. That is a bop. That's a good song. I don't blame you there. That's a bop. That one, and he wasn't. No, not he wasn't. Yeah, he wasn't man enough for me. Is my jam. I don't really like Making Me High as much, but I do love He Wasn't Man Enough for Me. That's a jam. Oh, that's a Libra anthem, honey. I'm a lover girl, but when we done, we done. He wasn't even. I don't even like him like that, so you can have him. Like you. Don't worry.
I'm glad.
Oh goodness, that's funny.
Oh, dang. This was dope. Thank you for hanging out with us again.
Thank
we missed
you for having me.
This
Oh
is
man,
so awesome.
this is a pleasure. That made my day. This made my day. Hanging out with y'all.
Yes.
It made ours too. Well, mine. I don't know about JR, but it made mine too.
It made mine. Don't do that. Don't do that.
Y'all are funny.
Yeah.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it. I really do.
Yeah. But yeah, make sure to check out Miss Lydia and all her dope things and keep us all staying fly. And then she'd be talking about perfume too, keep you smelling fly. All that. Yeah. For us aunties out here.
That's right.
Yes.
I'm proud.
Yes. Better believe it. And we thank all of our viewers, everybody in the live chat. Y'all are dope. Y'all, I always got to do a stupid pun, but y'all do mean the world to me. You're my everything. The only. But
that really, really, really matters. Yes.
Okay. Come on.
Yes. And we love y'all. Thank you for the support. Things have really grown, and it's because of y'all. So just keep it going. Tell a friend. You know the spiel. Tell an enemy. Tell a casual acquaintance about us, and we'll get them together, and we can be family. So we will catch y'all on the next Catch That. Peace.
Bye. Thank y'all.